I've been keeping a little secret. So, welcome to Florence. This is my secret marathon. So basically after Frankfurt it was a bit of a disappointment and a bunch of things went wrong, which you can check out in my previous video. But I thought I'd do a marathon in Florence, a free roll of the dice, and to see if I could change a few things and basically learn for next year. So the things I'm going to change. The first thing is I haven't done a carb deplete. I'm not doing a carb load. I've backed off the mileage this week, so my glycogen stores will build up naturally as I eat a little bit more than usual, but not the crazy 700 grams of carbs per day that I was doing for Frankfurt. So that's my main thing I'm changing. I'm also not taking beetroot. I didn't take it in training, I took it for the race, and I'm just basically trying to change the variables which may have affected my bad performance in Frankfurt. Also, I've kept it quiet, so try to reduce all the pressure. Free roll of the dice, doesn't really matter what happens. Where should I go? I'll go this way. I gave it a shot in Frankfurt, it didn't pay off, so there's nothing really to lose tomorrow. I'm not going to go out as quick. Obviously my goal in Frankfurt was 2 hours 24, but my goal tomorrow is to learn as much as I can about myself and the marathon as possible. So I think I'm going to go and try and go through halfway in 1:13, maybe 1:13:30, and see how I fare. I put a bit of weight on because I started my off season a little bit early because this was never the plan. But we'll see how it goes. What else have I changed? Oh yeah, I've got a few club mates who are out here who want to run fast, so I thought this was a good chance to just join them and have a bit of company for the run, and hopefully hang on to one of the boys' coattails for as long as I can. But also it makes the weekend nice. We'll go for a few beers after the race and discuss the race. Sadly Kelly's not here. Missing her like crazy, wish she was, but thought this was one last roll of the dice and trying to learn as much as I can about the marathon.
So it's the morning of the race. I'm trying to shave, but I haven't got any shaving foam, so I'm going with the old style soap. See if that'll do the trick. Just done my normal ritual. Breakfast 4 hours before, porridge, simple, and a shower. And now I'm just doing the last bits of prep before I go out for about a 10-minute jog warm up. Other things I've done differently in this block, the soap is not working, are trying to reduce my gluten intake, which is really difficult in Italy, but I've been having like risotto rather than pasta or pizza. See if maybe I've got a gluten insensitivity. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. See if that's affected my performance before. So that's another thing. But I think the biggest one is just the carb load. If any of you are wondering why I've got a moustache, it's because it's for Movember. So I'm raising funds for men's mental and physical health. So I'll put the link below if you want to donate, but don't feel any pressure to donate. Another reason I'm doing it is just to raise awareness. So even if you just ask a friend how he is, bring up mental health or physical health in men, yeah, that's what I'm doing really. So if it starts conversations, then it was worth doing, but I hate it. Although if I run well, it might be a lucky charm, I might have to keep it. Let's hope not. Well, I don't know. There we go, moustache all ready. Other things I'm going to do is wear my heart rate monitor. I wear my heart rate monitor pretty much for every training run because I don't trust the wrist data. But in races, I just don't know, for some reason in races I find it uncomfortable, whereas normally I don't. But I'm going to wear it anyway for this marathon. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, so see what happens with my heart rate, see if it does stay down or if it does spike for any reason. I'm going to stick with a caffeine shot that I have before the race because caffeine seems to really help me, and I use it for all my sessions. So losing beetroot, losing gluten, sticking with caffeine, continuing my heart rate through from training runs into the race, pace it a bit more cautiously, and just see what I can learn from today. The whole goal is to gain as much knowledge as possible, ready for the next training block and the next marathon in London next year. Pace-wise, I'm going to be running at about between 5:30 and 5:35 early on, and see how that feels. Going to try and go through in 73 minutes, maybe 73 and a half. Conditions look decent, haven't been out yet, but they were forecast to be decent, not too windy. Nice temperature, between like 12 and 14, I think. So yeah, I'm really excited. Although I am nervous as well, but I'm trying to reduce the nerves this time, but no pressure. I don't even have to post this video if it goes badly, but I probably will anyway. So, get my kit on, get out for that jog. Just thinking I could quickly talk you through my kit. So these are the gels I'll be using, Science and Sport. Caffeine shot, 15 to 20 minutes before the race. I'll have a gel just before the race as well. And then I'm gonna have, this will be my final gel because it's got caffeine in, and it'll be 6, 12, 18. So at 30k I'll be taking on the caffeine and holding on for dear life. Flip belt, that's what I'll be putting the gels in. You can put some in that zip pocket, but I prefer to just slide them in these little pockets, and then you flip it and they can't come out. Hence the name flip belt. I wear that for all my runs. I normally put my phone in there, but I won't be taking that with me. Absolutely love Stance socks, so I'll be wearing these. Look pretty cool and really designed for running, really thin, technical, and they wick away the moisture, so I love those. Gloves and a throwaway warm-up layer. Hat, that's all for the warm-up. Tights are for the warm-up. We've got my Rego Recovery, so this is for afterwards. Just mix that with some water and that'll get the carbs, electrolytes and protein back into me. And then of course the the Next Percent Vaporfly. Just a trainer that can't be ignored, to be honest. I've looked at all the data, I've run in them, and my heart rate's a few beats lower than it is in other trainers that I race in, so it just does make that much difference. But more than just the effort level being slightly easier, I feel less fatigue. So when I hit 20 miles, my legs don't feel as battered. So I've been recovering better after long runs in them, but also my calves don't hurt at 20 miles or 22 miles, which they normally would in a marathon. I do get trouble with my calves. After Frankfurt, I was actually fine a few days later. Well, actually, my calves were pretty much fine straight away, which is really rare. So really happy with the performance in them. And of course, we've got Harrier's vest and just some nice split shorts, and yeah, race ready. So I'm going to get my warm layers on now. I'll throw that bright orange warm vest, layer. It's pretty old, and just want to stay warm at the start line. It's time to go and run a marathon. See you in a bit.
So as you can probably tell, it's a few days after the race, but I thought I'd do a quick recap of how the race went down, the time I ran, and everything else that was involved. I'll throw up some pretty pictures to try and keep it a bit more interesting. So warm-up was good, conditions were decent, not very windy, and a bit warmer than back home, but I think 13, 14 degrees, so pretty perfect conditions. Went through the first 5k in 17 minutes and 18 seconds, which is 5:34 per mile, which is pretty bang on exactly what we wanted. I was running at this point with the captain of the Swansea Harriers, Mark Hobbs, and we were going for a pretty similar time, trying to aim for 2:26, 2:27, something like that. Second 5k, didn't feel as comfortable as I'd hoped. Slower than the first, 17:37, which is 5:39 pace, but we decided not to panic and just try and tick off the Ks the best we could. At this stage, there was a group behind us, because we've been running, the two of us. We had one guy with us for a little bit, but there's a group behind us with the elite women and it seemed to be a decent group, and they were being paced by another man. So we decided to sit at the back of that group and just tag along. They clicked off the next 5k in 17:38, 5:40 pace. Very similar pace to the second 5k we did. So we went through 15k, a bit behind target, but looking good, just not feeling as comfortable as I'd hoped. Fourth 5k up to 20k, again 18 minutes, so now we're starting to slow, which was a bit frustrating, but we decided just, to sit on the back of that pack. I knew that I had more to give, but it was frustrating then going through halfway in 1 hour, 14 minutes and 30 seconds, which gave us a predicted time of 2:29, which was a bit of a way from our goal, but I still felt like I could push on at some stage. But that stage came quicker than I expected. The two lead women just seemed to kick up the road, and I made a decision to leave Mark and go with them, which I think I regret now. I didn't look at my watch, I just tried to hang with them, and they did mile 14, 5 minutes 24, mile 15, I dropped off them and still ran a 5 minute 26 mile. And then it was clinging on really. My pace then slipped from 15 to 19. I was able to keep sub 6 miles, but I was struggling, and then things started to really get tough. I hadn't seen Mark for a while at this point, but he came past me at 20 miles as I slowed down to 6:04, 21, 6:19, 22, 6:19, 23, 6:35, 24, 6:31. I was just in a lot of pain. I got my gels on board, which was good, but my legs were just so tired, and I'd clearly used up too much glycogen in those earlier miles, especially when I went with a faster pace and really did spike my heart rate. I did pick it up for the final mile with a 5:45 mile, which was pleasing. I don't really know where that came from. So I finished the race in 2 hours, 33 minutes and 32 seconds, which is my third fastest marathon, nowhere near where I wanted to be, but I learnt a lot from this experience. My stomach was so much better than it was in Frankfurt. I didn't get a stitch. I do think not doing the heavy carb load and reducing gluten in the days prior really did help. So that's definitely something I'm gonna carry on trying in training and then put into practice at the next marathon. So I'm actually really happy with how the race went with regards to how I felt. I probably got the pacing wrong for my fitness and my current weight at the time. I think my intensity was a little high, and I think that's why I ran out of fuel. But also my legs were very tired. They hadn't recovered well enough to be fresh on the start line, fresh like you'd like them in a marathon. But you'd expect that, having run Frankfurt a few weeks before. But still, a lot of positives to come from it. Really happy I travelled to Florence to run the marathon. I learnt a lot, and I was really glad I wore the heart rate monitor as well, because I was really surprised. I was pretty sure about my heart rate zones. I've had testing before, but I was able to hold an average heart rate of 177 for a marathon, which I think is quite high, and higher than I would have expected. I made the mistake of going with those lead girls. That 5:24 mile spiked my heart rate to 182, and that's just going to put me in a place where lactate's going to build up and I'm going to fly through my glycogen stores. So that was a mistake. But other than that, it's really interesting to see that I can hold that higher heart rate for a longer time. So now I just need to make sure that I'm a little bit fitter, a little bit leaner, go heart rate slightly lower, and hopefully the glycogen stores will last for a bit longer to enable me to finish the marathon strong. Anyway, I really enjoyed going to Florence. I'm really excited about the next block and London Marathon next year. And I just can't wait to get back to training. I'm going to have some downtime now. I've already taken a few days off. My legs feel actually quite good, but I'll have a few more days off, and then I'll start with some winter base. I'm going to do some easy miles before I reintroduce sessions, and I'm really excited for it. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Share with your friends. I've got loads more content coming up because I've decided to do a lot more on YouTube. I've got some shoe reviews, I've got some race reviews, but also some tips and strategies for training as well. So tune in, share, and all that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.